Welcome everybody to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into this. So, the regular season has started and ends tonight with the Bills and Jets. Should be a good game. Couple things to go over. San Francisco, they're the real deal. Okay, they're the real deal. Brock Purdy came back, made them look competent again, made them look like Super Bowl contenders. That defense was stifling. The Eagles, they're back. Yeah, I know they had New England Patriots, gave them a run for their money, but that's Bill Belichick's team. They're always going to be feisty. They're always going to give you a run for your money. That's just how it's going to be. And then we had the Dallas Cowboys, who also showed you that they are in Super Bowl contention. Now, everybody else in the NFC, outside of those top three teams I mentioned in the NFC, they're all in the mix to make a playoff spot. All in the mix. You had Atlanta winning, you had Tampa Bay winning, you had New Orleans winning, you had Green Bay winning, you had Detroit winning. Okay? You had a lot of these teams that we didn't expect to win. And that's not talking about the AFC side where Miami, Tua's breaking records left and right. Breaking records left and right. And the buildup, the anticipation to this season has been something I haven't seen in many years and something that definitely I looked forward to. But let's get into the New York Football Giants for a minute. Because the rest of the league came out, and you had your pretenders and your contenders and whatever. But clearly, the New York Football Giants clearly are not on the level of the Cowboys. However, I want to get into some stuff. So, I don't want to hear how good the Cowboys are, because I already knew that. I knew how good they could be or would be or should be. Nobody fooled me. But I heard all camp long. I heard after the preseason game against the Panthers, oh, we're good to go. We're going to the Super Bowl. This team, Daniel Jones, light it up. Cowboys stink. Screw this. We're going to close the gap. Close the gap to the Cowboys. Closing the gap. Well, guess what? That gap is still there. That gap is still there. That performance on Sunday night was absolutely atrocious. Worst loss I've seen from the Giants in a long time. And mind you, they had Joe Judge, Ben McAdoo, and Pat Shermer. And I still saw a worse loss than that. Mr. Dayball. Mr. I'm prepared. Mr. Coach is prepared. His team didn't look like they cared. Didn't look like they were prepared. Had no fire to fight. And all I hear from fans is, well, we aren't on the level of the Cowboys. No, that's the same crap we had against the Eagles. Same crap. We went up against the Eagles a week leading up to the Eagle game in the playoffs. We're like, oh, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to eat them alive. Third time's a charm. Got beat. What happened? Well, we're not on their level. No, the same thing happened. This guy's going to be good. We're going to mess them up. Screwed two corners. They were playing great in the preseason. Everybody had no concerns. We're going to close the gap. We're going to go out there and win on Sunday night. The Cowboys got something coming. Not me. I said we need to respect the Cowboys. I said we need to respect what they was doing. They had top 5 defense for a reason. Well, guess what? On primetime television, they put it out there. They embarrassed the New York Giants. Embarrassed the New York Giants. There's not even a moral victory in this thing. Usually you have a loss. I know Chris Collinsworth last night was like, you lose by 3 points, you lose by 0. It's the same thing. No, it's not. Because if we lost by 3 points, Giant fans would have been like, you know what? We're almost there. We only lost by 3 points. We're close. They would have been more of a moral victory going across the board. But there ain't no moral victories when you get your ass kicked from Jump Street. Giants moving the ball downfield looking good. They had a friggin' fumbled snap and then a block punt for a touchdown. Two. The first time since 2009. 2009 was a long time ago. Okay? First time since 2009 where there was a punt, a special teams touchdown, a defensive touchdown, and an offensive touchdown all in the same game. And of course it happens to the Giants. The Giants, again, I haven't seen a loss this bad to the Cowboys since 1995 when they lost 35-0 in the opener. And that team had Dave Brown as their quarterback. And that defense wasn't that bad, and they still gave up 35 points to the eventual Super Bowl champions. And people are going to, someone was like, well, the Cowboys go on and, win the Super Bowl and all this stuff. We're not going to worry about this loss. You're not going to worry about this loss? I still remember the loss from 1995. I'm going to remember this loss in 2023. No one's going to forget the loss because the Cowboys went on. And it's not going to make it any better that we got our butts kicked and then, they went off to win the Super Bowl and give the trophy to the Cowboys again. Nobody wants that. People, you need to get angry. You can't just be happy on one end, and then when things happen, you get your butt kicked by a team that's better than you. All you say is, well, the team was better than us. When the weeks leading up to it, we're going to beat this team. This one is an embarrassment from top to bottom. The defense. Let's start with them, because I know a lot of people want to exonerate them. Oh, they played a good game. They didn't play a good game. You know what a good game is? Keeping that team to 20 points. Getting the ball back for your offense. Not letting that guy go back there and re-War and Peace. He sniffed. They didn't even sniff Dak Prescott. I don't even know he got sacked. They got guys running open in the secondary. They're getting up 5 yards to carry. Kayvon Thibodeau, where you at? Azeez Ojulari, where you at? Leonard Williams, where you at? Then you know what's going to happen? They're going to play great against the Arizona Cardinals, who are terrible. Okay? And they're going to come back and we're going to puff out our chests like, yeah, we're going to win again. And then we have the San Francisco 49ers on the docket. You saw what they did to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh by far has a better line situation going on than the Giants. Oh, and by the way, they had TJ Watt who gave up 3 sacks. We don't have a TJ Watt on our team, last I checked. This is why the New York Giants can't read their own press clippings. Because even the coach was there. He got out-coached. Where was the fire? Where was the gusto? You came out and established your culture last year against the Tennessee Titans, going for it and doing all this stuff. Then against the Cowboys, you come up short. And not to mention, I know the offensive line was atrocious, but the quarterback didn't play well. You didn't get your star running back involved. Okay? And what is this nonsense about having the quarterback play deep into the fourth quarter, getting crushed every play, and your star running back sitting on the sidelines? Oh, because your QB says he wants to play the fourth quarter? You as a coach got to say, listen, man, live to fight another day. We're putting in Tyrod Taylor. They're kicking our ass. Go sit on the bench. We'll see you next time. No, what do you got to hold his pride? Why? Because he's afraid of his critics that if he leaves the game early or that he wants to show how he can take a beating? Nobody cares. Game's over. Take him out. God forbid that guy got injured in the game and now your season's completely washed. A lot of blame to go around. This was an absolute shit show debacle. And I'm not saying the season's over by any stretch, but it's going to be a long road if we can't block it up. And oh, by the way, Anthony Munoz, Tony Baselli, Orlando Pace, none of them are walking through the door. Okay? None of them are walking through the door. And any lineman you get now is not going to be worth a salt. I don't want to hear that they got some dude off the practice squad and he's going to be good and all that shit. No. This team is not there yet. I don't want to hear about it. They're good enough to beat a team that's in disarray. They're not good enough to be any of the contending teams. And with an offensive line, it makes any game a losable game. So don't take Arizona lightly because they will beat your ass. I know people are talking how bad they are. Listen, we can say how bad the Commanders are. Guess what? They won the game. We didn't. Right now, the Commanders are better than us, whether we like it or not. And last season was a carryover into this season. Giants were 3-6-1 last season at the end of the year. And they went on to beat Minnesota, who I don't want to hear about Minnesota anymore. They lost to Tampa Bay. I don't want to hear about that team anymore. I want to hear about that victory. I don't want to hear nothing. That team shouldn't have been in the playoffs, and somehow they made it with that defense. And then we go up against a juggernaut and get railroaded. This game was over at halftime, just like the game in the playoffs. But it's all right. It's cool. It's only week 1. We got 16 more of these. And let's hope that Daniel Jones got sacked 8 times. They took 1 back from the penalty. 8 times. This has been another edition of the Hurry Up Man. You can find me on many different platforms, many different shows. The Real Deal NFC East Roundup on 5:30 on Wednesday. We're going to go and recap all this stuff, talk about every single moment of every single game for each and every team in the NFC East. And then Premium Takes. We're going to go back, give you our takes, give you our week 2 predictions. I know I'm a little fired up right now, people. That's just who I am. Because if you're not mad about this victory and you're like, whoa, we chalked it up to the Cowboys being good, then you're not a football fan because you need to be angry. You need to be angry at the embarrassment that just happened. Your kid embarrasses you. You don't just go home and be like, oh, okay. No, you go home and you tell them, hey, listen, you embarrassed me. Let's not let that happen again. Check you later.